Okay, we're live.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jessica Backhaus. I'm a photographer, and I'm really delighted to be here in Philadelphia at the Bridgette Gallery with John Wind. And it's a pleasure for me to show my recent work, which are the cutouts, alongside work from Dina Wind.
And I'm John Wind. I'm the president of the Dina Wind Art Foundation. Dina was my mom, and she was an active artist, welded metal sculptor in particular, from the 1970s until she passed away in 2014. Bridgette Mayer Gallery has been representing her estate. This is the third time the gallery has shown Dina's work. And I'm acting as an artist representative today who knew the artist's practices very well. So,
And Bridgette should be live with us.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Bridgette.
Hi. Welcome to Philadelphia, Jessica. Happy International Women's Day and month.
I'm sorry?
Happy International Women's Month.
Definitely. Happy International Women's Day.
Yes, that's right.
International Women's Day. Right
That's
here.
right.
Well,
With your mother.
You heard that.
I'm so grateful that you guys happen to be together in the gallery, and I thought it'd be a really cool opportunity for our audience to connect with both of you live and to get kind of a sneak peek behind you guys of what the show looks like. And I just wanted to ask, I'll start with John. John, Dina Wind, your mom, was such a pioneer in so many ways and a role model for so many women artists. What would she want women to know today for Women's Day? What would she say if she was standing in a room of women about making art and being an artist?
The first thing she would say is that she really didn't like getting caught up on the idea of being a woman artist.
Yep.
What was primary for her was being an artist, being the best artist that she could be. So I think she had problems with the very idea that Women's Day, International Women's Day, had to exist. And simply by example of her practice, it wasn't so relevant. And that's kind of utopian vision, but that was her point of view.
Yep, and I know she was a role model throughout the time she was making art, especially her assemblage work and welding. And I know a lot of women can relate to working with materials and really wanting to make an impact as an artist. What would she say about that?
I think her focus was on trusting her instincts. She works very intuitively, and it's not like she went to school to become an assemblage artist or a welded metal sculptor. It was just that when she was first introduced to working with these materials and the power of the welding, it's like it all came together for her, and she found her life's purpose, in a sense, intuitively. And that would be her message for everybody, to really follow your instincts and if the door opens, walk through it, and then just go for it.
I love it. I feel like that's a really good segue to ask Jessica, because your work is often very intuitive. And could you tell us a little bit about your practice of making your photographs?
Yes, I can very much sympathize with what you were saying about your mother, because it is true that I also work in a very intuitive way, and I do try to follow my instinct and trust my instincts. And for example, the work that I'm exhibiting here, it's something, I don't know, I could have never imagined that I would do something like that. In a way, these cutouts came to me, but to be more specific, before this series, I did a project called The Trilogy, and there were 3 different series, and in the last series, I started for the first time to venture into collage art. put things together. And after I finished that, I was so intrigued by this whole process because it was something entirely new to me. Because the previous years, what I did is I photographed what I saw and I kind of documented. So I didn't create something out of my own. And with these cutouts, what I did is I'm quite fascinated by the material of paper because I think it's just so versatile. And for me, it's also, again, so beautiful to see these cutouts alongside the paper sculpture from Dina,
Yeah.
which is wonderful that she also worked with paper. And yeah, I mean, I can get more into the cutouts maybe a little later, but I do follow very much and trust. And yeah, should I say a little bit more about the cutouts or later?
Well, how long, for the audience that doesn't know you very much yet, Jessica, how long have you been a photographer?
I have been doing photography for the last 23 years, almost 25 years. And I started developing my own projects. And like many photographers, there's so many ways to go about it. You can do advertising, you can go into the commercial world, you can follow the artistic road. And I kind of really deep down felt I wanted to do my own work. And so I always work on long-term projects, like 2 or 3 years. And then my biggest dream was to do exhibition and books. So I really decided that's what I want to try. And so lucky me, almost 25 years later, I'm still doing it. And it's challenging, that is to say. It is challenging, but I enjoy it very much.
Well, we are so excited for you to be in Philadelphia exhibiting for the first time.
Yes.
And how many books have you done to date? I was trying to count how many books you've done at this point.
I think I've done 10.
I was thinking it was either 9 or 10 books.
Yeah, that's right.
Um,
Yes, it's a book there.
and how does it feel to be an artist? You're primarily based in Germany and showing around the world. Could you tell the audience about that? Because there are often artists that don't get to leave their hometown or their backyards per se and get to exhibit around the world. And I feel like you've been someone that has exhibited in New York, Paris, overseas, really across. You're an internationally known artist.
Well, everything takes time. In a way, I want to say how it happened for me, it was in a very organic way. When I started out, I was living in New York at the time, and then I started working with the New York gallery, but because I'm German American, but I was longing to go back to Germany, because I had lived there for so many years, over 2 decades. And I thought, I want to really go back and see what it feels to live on the European continent, but I had no gallery. I just had the New York gallery when I came to Europe. And then at some point, friends of mine said, well, you need a gallery in Germany, in your country. And so a friend recommended me someone, and he's really wonderful. I've been working with him, Robert Morat's gallery. I've been working with him for the last 15 years, and that has been a very beautiful journey because we work very closely with each other, and he's very supportive. But of course, he also is very open for me to work with other galleries in other countries. And how did I get the other galleries? I guess I was lucky because they approached me once I started exhibiting and having work in exhibitions or in institutions or at art fairs. I did get approached by these other galleries, and that's how I started working with other European galleries outside of Germany.
Yes. And you know what? That's actually how I saw your work for the first time. Gosh, I want to say it was probably 12, 14 years ago.
13, I think,
Yeah,
13 years ago in
yeah, at Art Miami, and you did a series on Venice that I really loved, and I bought a piece, and that started my love affair and fascination with your photography and your process. And one of the things that resonates with me and is why I wanted to bring your work together with Dina Wynn's work, her sculptures primarily, is your focus on abstraction, um, form, and color, but drawing from either the real world, whether it's travel or objects, or ideas within objects. And I felt that you and Dina would be such a wonderful pairing, especially with um, Dina's focus on abstraction through forms that we recognize, uh, gardening tools, card parts. And I thought the coloration between the work, some of the hints of color in Dina's works, work so beautifully with your cutout series. So I'm so thrilled, and I'm curious now that you both are together in the gallery, could you comment for the audience? What does the show feel like? How does it look? Are you happy?
You want the first one?
Sure. Yesterday during installation day, we were both just like kept saying, "I can't believe this. This is so perfect. Oh my God, the connection here through the color, the shadows. Shadows are such a big deal. When you see this show in person, the shadows within Jessica's photos and the shadows kind of created on the wall by Dina's pieces being dramatically lit. There's such a dialogue. It's almost uncanny. So, Bridgette, as a curator, I really commend you on bringing together what you wouldn't at first think would be a logical pairing, but it's a really great connection. There's so many layers of dialogue.
Yeah, I can only follow John. When you told me about this idea of bringing my work and showing it alongside Tina's work, I was very taken. But, you know, I was in Europe, you were here in America, so I only saw visuals. And it's a whole different experience when you are actually seeing the actual works in the gallery. That's why, again, I think it's so important to go into galleries, to go into museums and see the work for real. Because whatever you can see on Instagram or on the website, it gives you an idea, but you don't get the same sensation. And I really felt quite emotional because not that I know so much about Dina, but the more I'm getting into her universe and hear about her, I feel like what a wonderful woman and what a great artist. And like you said, Bridgette, I'm sure she has inspired many people and artists, and I think it's, for me, I'm very, how can I say, I'm very touched to be able to have this exhibition here with Dina, and for me also it's the first time that the cutouts are shown in America. So they premiered here, they have been, in the last 2 years, they have been exhibited in many places all around Europe, and now I just feel very excited that they will be seen by an American audience.
But Bridgette, one of the things that really excited me when I saw Jessica's work in person, which isn't as obvious when you're looking on your phone at a teeny little reproduction, is that the surfaces and the textures that are captured by the camera are so much more subtle and tactile than online. It looks more graphic.
Yeah.
You see the shapes and the colors, but in person, these are really beautiful, velvety images that you just want to kind of cozy up to.
Love it. I love it.
Whereas you wouldn't be advised to cozy up to Venus which have a different kind of tactile nature, but the saw blades and other sharp objects are best appreciated with a little bit of distance.
And the other thought that I had with bringing together these two powerhouse women artists and their work was Dina traveled the world and was inspired by traveling. She took a lot of pictures, and I know she would have loved your photographs, Jessica. And I felt that with your background in traveling and capturing the world, that there was a symbiosis to both of you, besides the anchoring of abstraction, volume, form, shadow, surface texture. So I'm so pleased that you guys are happy with the results, and so appreciative, Jessica, that you're here. You flew in from Germany. I'm so appreciative that John is here to talk about Dina and her work. Thank you guys so much for making time for our live audience today. And for those of you who would like to come out, we have an opening reception this Friday evening. Both John and Jessica will be there at the gallery starting at 5 p.m. So we hope to see you then. And let's really celebrate women this month and today especially. Have a great day. Thank you, guys.
Bridget.
Bye. Bye. Bye.